everyone. Welcome to the SVK Media All Women's Food Network with my co-host, Liana, Robberecht, Executive Corporate Chef at Trico Living Well in Calgary, Alberta. We are very, very interested to hear from today's guest. We're really excited. We have Kelly Long right here in Alberta, who is a very interesting and successful entrepreneur. She is the co-owner of Noble Premium Bison. And Liana, I think you know Kelly, hey?
I do. I've known Kelly for many years, so I am so thrilled to have her and to have this really inspiring chat with her. You are really she's mind-blowing, she's inspiring, and she is like stone cold fox. Let's just put that out there right now.
Well, I'm looking forward. I'm a big fan of her product. Our family has been buying it and eating it. So when I saw that it was actually local, I was very excited to know that she was going to be our guest. Just because I know you are too, but I'm a big supporter of supporting local, especially a woman. So I'm very excited that she is going to be coming on here to interview with us.
Yeah, she's amazing. Let's bring her out.
Oh, here we go. There she is. So Kelly, I Googled you. I knew a little bit about you. I was saying to Liana, I know that you and Liana go back, and I always Google guests just to get some information about them. But I wanted to ask you, what was the last thing you Googled?
Oh my God. What was the last thing I Googled? It was probably words. When I'm reading a book, I'll find a word and I'll Google the word. And I honestly don't know what word I would have Googled.
Maybe it'll come to you later on into the show.
Boy, that was a surprise. I'm gonna be thinking about it. What is the last thing I Googled?
Yeah, I have to Google probably about everything. I'm like obsessively like looking at things or ingredients or I don't know, just lots of different things. Colors, textures.
I know what it was. I Googled confit yesterday. I was talking to a chef and I Googled confit.
And what is that?
It's when you cook meat. Well, I should probably have Liana explain it. When you cook meat in its own tallow. So we are developing a brisket, a bison brisket confit. So he was talking about the recipe and I Googled it to get a little bit more detail. So that was yesterday afternoon.
But it doesn't have to just pertain to meat. It could be anything that you're cooking, like in it could be anything in fat. So we do like a lot of, confit garlic or confit vegetables. I'm obsessed with confit for sure. As a matter of fact, I have upcoming menu that's a confit carrots and parsnips. So yeah, I do that a lot with I'm obsessed with like flavor profiles, like with star anise, basil, oranges, and lemons, and cinnamon. I confit a lot in that kind of aromatics.
Amazing.
Yeah. But let's not get sidetracked with flavor profiles. Our flavor profile right now is all about you. So tell us everything, Kelly Long, everything about your world, your life, and entrepreneurs. Tell us. Go.
I think you know what, Kelly. I think what I'd like to know is we don't see a lot of women in the ag related business, especially the niche, and your expertise, which is, such an interesting story. I know Liana probably knows your story. I don't, and maybe our guests don't. I'd like to know, how did you get into the bison industry? What did your parents do? How did this happen?
I am the child of entrepreneurs. That's for sure. My parents are both entrepreneurs and they're both retired now. But before the show, we were talking that I am originally from Toronto, and I was transferred with a job out west. I worked for Harley Davidson Motor Company, not the dealership, but for the Canadian distributor. And they moved me into Western Canada, and I was on a ride for the 95th anniversary of Harley Davidson going down to Milwaukee. And on that trip, I met a guy, and the guy with a bison ranch. I met a guy with a bison ranch, and that was back in 1998. And from then on, it's been bison, bison, bison.
Wow.
It's always the guy, hey?
It's always the guy. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I know that I have the amazing good fortune of knowing you for a long time, and we've got to work on lots of incredible projects. I met you through a mutual friend back in the Wildwood days, the
Yes.
restaurant in Calgary. And but I want to know what you love about being an entrepreneur, and what the hardest part of being an entrepreneur is, and some of those days, like when the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs, and some of that advice that you can give to others that may be starting a business. Like what are like the three kind of the tops and the lows to get us people through it?
What do I love? What's the hardest? Well, I love the independence of being an entrepreneur. You get to make your own decisions, and you get to, people think, oh, wow, how lucky are you to be an entrepreneur? You set your own hours and you get to do everything. And let me tell you, when you're an entrepreneur, you may be setting your own hours, but it's whether you're working all night or all weekend, or, you work long hours. But the hardest thing would be making the hard decisions. So, or any decision, like a good or bad, every decision is mine to make. So that's exciting because they're my decisions. But, a lot of that comes with self-doubt and examining those decisions and trying to force myself into finding flaws and ideas that I might think are great. And sometimes there's a bit of uncertainty in that. And what if my decision isn't right? What's the wrong thing? And how bad will the fallout be? And that's the other thing about being an entrepreneur. The buck stops with you. So no matter what it is, you're responsible. So, we've certainly had our successes. We've had our challenges. And, and Liana, you and I go way back. This is our first rodeo. When things are going poorly, you have to keep going. You and I have had some conversations about that over the years.
Yeah.
You just can't give up. Even when you feel like you want to, you can't. You have to keep moving forward, even if it's in little baby steps. And, I'm looking around my office here, and I have little quotes that sit around here that inspire me and keep me going. And, some of them are like Margaret Thatcher. You have to fight every battle more than once to win it. Walt Disney, it's really fun to do the impossible. So,
yeah. You really are a huge inspiration to me, and I'm sure to lots of other women around too. But there was a real low point when I was at the lowest of my low, and we went out for lunch, and you really lifted me up and gave me a really huge boost when I desperately, and I didn't even know how badly I needed it. And you really inspired me to create and keep going and shine the biggest light on me when I need it the most. So you are a really big inspiration to me personally and professionally.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I remember that day. I just want to get out there and give you a big virtual hug.
Yeah. You remember that day, right? Like it was huge, and I don't think I will ever forget that moment ever. And makes me want to cry now, but it was incredible, and I will never forget that moment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kelly, I have such appreciation. I have a couple friends that are farmers, and I don't understand the day-to-day tasks that happen on a farm to make everything run smoothly. Can you walk us through what a day looks like for you? I mean, this is a bison ranch. Like, can you paint a picture for us people that are no knowledge of what it's like to run a ranch and what that day looks like? Like, are you out there, scooping away and making sure everything is good and talking to the bison, or do you have a team of, ranchers? Like, what does it look like? I have no idea.
Okay, well, I'm not on a ranch.
Meanwhile, back on the ranch.
Back on the ranch.
What I picture? I picture like you and Kevin Costner, out on a ranch, Montana or something. So I guess we need a realistic view of what your world looks like.
Well, when I met that guy, that's what my world looked like.
Okay.
That's what it looked like. for several years. We had a couple thousand acres with bison on it, and yeah, we would. No, we had help on the ranch. We had a lot of bison, so we had help on the ranch, and it was a lot of fun. But now, when you running a business like ours, where you're doing, you've got a lot of marketing and a lot of balls in the air and a lot of things going on. We actually moved on to the business side of it, and we have a business partner, Doug, who actually owns ranches and manages all the animals. So I don't know. I was just thinking, Liana, if you've met him, you have not. So Doug Griller is our partner, and he has ranches in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. And then we have, I was just talking to you about another partner we have here, Ivan Smith in Alberta, and they're on the ranches. And my days are strictly office. So it would be so much fun to be on the ranch again. Some of the most fun things were working with the bison. So, but, what my day looks like is, over the years of running this business, I've honed my routine to have a pretty healthy work-life balance. And sometimes that works out for me, and sometimes it flat out doesn't. So, I've been told that I'm pretty structured and a pretty structured and organized person. And I can tell you, I sure do not feel that way. If I could turn my camera around, you would see that nobody would call this structured and organized. But I have fairly consistent routines that I do during the day, and I feel like from the time I get up in the morning to getting behind my desk, they set me up for my day. And it's silly. It could be silly little things that I do that if I don't do that thing in the morning, I feel like my whole day will be off kilter or off balance. So it's just little things. And then I spend a lot of my time on the phone and in virtual meetings and talking to people. But I just did a meeting with Cisco BC before this meeting. I was doing a pitch, and we were doing some ideations. So it's an interesting day. It's interesting now since post-pandemic, everything still is done virtually.
Wow. But you still are big on practicing. I mean, you still travel internationally to make those connections. You still are the face and the person that makes those commitments for your company.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I still do a lot of travel. I just got back from Toronto a week ago today. I was there for meetings. I was in Europe, late last year, which is just like a month and a half ago. And then, I travel around a lot doing the pitches. More last year. It was interesting post-pandemic. I did more travel last year than in a normal year. And I was hoping to not do so much travel this year, but it doesn't look that way so far. Mm-hmm. I've been on the road 3 times, and it's just the beginning of February.
Right. So. And I just want to kind of talk about how exciting about being, community connected into, like Terroir, for example. You were the focus and the focal point of the Terroir Symposium, and then how those connections, when you went away, now, with one of the butchers in Germany, correct? And then now you're connected with him over there, and now he's using your bison. Like, talk about those connections that you made here in Calgary. Now that's happening internationally over there from that.
That was Hendrik Dierendonk.
Yeah.
That we met, and he's in Belgium.
Oh, Belgium, that's right.
Yeah, and in fact, so I was with you at Terroir. Yeah. That was in late September, and then I went to Paris after that. I know it's kind of tough. I have to go to Paris for conferences, but
I feel bad for you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for you.
I was in Paris for the Cial food show, and Hendrik met me there, and so it's fantastic. It's great to build those relationships. We do have sales throughout Europe, and that's an exciting thing for me, that I get to go over there and I get to visit with our clients and do that relationship building. But Terroir was an absolute fantastic, and Melanie, that's where I met you too. Is that
yes?
Correct?
Yeah.
It was a really great showcase for bison and chefs all over
Yeah.
North America, throughout the world. And it was like, Blair and I have kept in touch as well. Another butcher, and Elise is at Cisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Like,
she really is. Yeah.
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 Are you so I'm just curious because, there has been so much changes in the economy over the last couple of years. With your business, are you worried about anything in the future, any challenges you foresee, or if you do see them, are you a strategist and are you trying to figure out, okay, if this happens, we're ready for this, or what's our next move? And are you worried about any challenges in the future here?
I am very strategically focused. So you're right. We and in fact, today is just yesterday morning. Sometimes it's a blur on the hours, but just yesterday morning we did our next quarter strategic planning session, and we went through we do a SWOT analysis, and we try to identify what the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the biggest challenge during the pandemic, weirdly for retail, it was good for us. Post-pandemic, the biggest challenges is inflation, the economy.
Yeah.
The biggest impact is on our business has been freight. So going forward, we're just trying to do the best we can to work with chefs on products that are add value to a plate. Chefs nowadays people have been learning to cook at home, and they're doing more. It's not just about a pretty plate or a great tasting meal anymore. Consumers want to know how their animals were raised,
how
their food was raised.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good for them? Is it good for the environment? How does what I eat affect the environment? And we're really putting a big push around how do we allow chefs to have more profitability on their menu and give them more value to what's on that menu. So using underutilized cuts like the brisket that we were talking about, the brisket confit, and the sorry, at Terroir, what was that was served? That was unbelievably good. There was a lot of bison served, depending on where you were,
all cuts were served.
Oh
everything.
Gosh, that
we
was so
supplied
good.
a whole carcass for the butchers to break down.
However, Kelly, I gave you the best idea ever. Still, you got to get that going. You got to build. You got to find that piece for the manufacturer to get that cut done.
Yep, you do. Korean style short ribs, the real paper thin short ribs.
Yes,
so good. I'm
telling you, it's a game changer. It's going to revolutionize bison value-added cuts as you know it. You heard it here right now. We talked about it for now 3 years.
Just got to find that processor that can cut those short ribs for you.
All you have to do is build it. It's like Field of Dreams. Build it and it will come. You have to create it.
Is that something that's not available because there's not a machine that actually can cut the bison?
Well, what we're talking about, Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean?
It's the short ribs are really finely sliced, and we don't do that at the plant just because of fingers.
I gotcha.
So we need to build.
So we need to find a way to be able to slice it that thin that it's can be done.
So we have to build a piece of equipment to do it.
Yeah.
I think you should do it. I'm telling you.
Got to find that.
Sorry, from a nutritional standpoint, like we're in our house, we're sold on Noble Premium Bison, but why bison over beef? I mean, I know I've done my research and that, but what would you say to somebody that's looking at, maybe complementing their diet and they want to have a healthier meat in their diet? Why would they choose bison over beef?
Variety of reasons, and I'm still a big supporter of beef. I still love a great beef steak, but bison is different than beef in the fact that it's leaner, so less fat. You don't see the marbling in bison like you see in beef. It's more nutrient dense. The iron content is higher. You can see it in the color of the meat. It's a richer, brighter red. little bit higher in zinc, naturally higher in protein because of course you have less fat. And then it's a different flavor. It's the same flavor profile as beef, yet slightly richer and sweeter. Definitely not gamey or wild. That's a misconception.
Yeah.
And it's you can substitute bison for any protein, but it's the other thing is that we don't industrially raise bison. We raise it in a way that's good for. We were talking about this before. It's good for you. It's good for the planet, and it's good for the bison because a lot of people think bison's endangered, but the more we eat it, the more it's not endangered. So it's not endangered at all.
Well, we're getting close to the wrap up time, Kelly. But as we're getting closer, as you're going through, your journey of your career, and that have you come to any place where you can celebrate all your wins? Have you taken the time to celebrate it, like when you're riding on your Harley? Because people don't know you're avid motorcycle rider.
I am a motorcycle rider.
But often, I know for myself, like a lot of times women, we never take the time to celebrate our achievements. Do you take your time to celebrate your wins?
Yeah. You ask Peter every once in a while when I win during the day. He sees me happy dancing through the house.
Oh.
So we've had some big wins. And one day when we were getting this business started, it was probably the catalyst for me. A buyer at a major retailer called me to ask for help. And they said, the business, the industry, you can help us. And they said, they said, we need you. And I was like, oh my God, we made it. They know us. Like,
wow.
So
nice.
So we take time to celebrate those victories. And, I have had to train myself to look for those little opportunities because an entrepreneur, you usually just plow through. But I also train myself to recognize when things are really tough. And the good thing about that, and you may remember, we talked about something like this when we had our lunch that day.
Yeah.
When things are really tough, usually that's where the biggest opportunities are hiding.
I agree.
Yeah.
Everything is hard before it gets easy, and that's usually where the opportunities are hiding. So I always have to tell myself when it feels really hard, it's really demotivating. I have to think, okay, what's in this? So.
Yeah, I'll never forget that lunch, and also you helped create some opportunities for me, and I will be forever grateful for that, for sure. You re-inspired me when I'm a very positive person always, and at that time I didn't know I had anything left, and you created opportunities for me, and you made me feel like, I can go on. I can do it.
That's what we're there for. We all have to be there for each other.
Yeah, it was great. Melanie, would you like to wrap up?
Yeah, I was just going to say, before we say goodbye to you, Kelly, and everyone else, what would be one takeaway for a woman that's wanting to get in the ag industry or scale up? What would be that one piece of advice that you would like to give that audience?
The biggest thing for me is integrity. A person in a business is judged by their actions and the strength of the word. So, build on a solid foundation of integrity, and also always keep learning. Never stop learning. We make mistakes, but those two can, integrity and making mistakes can go together. They and help you to. Don't dwell on the fact that it might be fuel for regret, but it could provide wisdom and perspective to be better. So, and then persistence. The biggest thing for me is persistence. It's never stop making those moves forward. Never stop trying harder. And like I said, find the little nuggets when things are hard. There's something great coming.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
And tell us, where can we find that delicious bison products?
Okay, well, for food service, of course, Cisco across Canada. So Cisco across Canada, and at retail, it's at Costco across Canada, Sobeys across Canada, Safeway, Thrifty Foods, Federated Co-op, and now in Longo's and Farm Boy in Ontario. So we're right at retail right across Canada.
And if you want to find some delicious inspired recipes from you know who, where would we find them?
Oh, go to Noble Premium Bison to our recipe, noblepremiumbison.com, and just quite a few recipes from Liana on there.
I saw a couple. I saw the bison chili. I'm actually going to try that. I don't know if it'll be as good as yours, Liana, but I'll try it.
Oh, she does a great job. So recipes are amazing.
And we'll be working on some new projects coming up soon. So I'm very excited. So we'll stay tuned for those. So it'll be great. Thank you so much, Kelly. You're an awesome friend and also awesome inspiration to so many. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Liana, and thank you, Melanie. It's been great to be here with you today.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Kelly and Liana, and thank you for watching the SVK Media All Women's Food Network. Stay tuned for our guests next month. Thank you.
Thank you.